Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Wroten, senior reporter with CoStar News Hotels. I'm here with Brian Sparacino. He is the president, CEO, founder of Rebel Hotel Company. Brian, nice to meet another Brian.
Hey, likewise.
Spelled a little differently, but that's all right. I won't hold it against you. So, big time for Rebel Hotel Company. As I understand it, you're going through a major growth phase. You also have the Reserve Collection that has launched.
That's correct.
What can you tell us about the growth phase? What's driving it, and what are you putting in this collection?
Yeah, no, appreciate that. We're very excited about it. We certainly saw the opportunity to be able to create something that's unique. It just didn't come out of the blue. We've been approached on a few occasions, now many, people looking for a solution. If you look at the industry, as you all would know, probably better than anybody else, in the United States, it was closing out 2025 was one of the first years on record that was outside of a recession that RevPAR was negative. It was flat to negative. And the one segment that has been moving pretty quickly has been luxury, ultra luxury. It is bucking the trend and showing a positive movement forward and looking to be the case for 2026. So we saw the opportunity to align with investors who are seeking that type of solution and support, and decided now or never to launch the Reserve Collection of Rebel. And it's been exciting so far.
So, what can you tell us about specific properties that you have taken into your portfolio?
Well, we're proud to announce under Reserve, the Kickstarter was a property in Santa Barbara, California. That's a 5-star, 5-diamond property. It's under Reserve Collection is the El Encanto that is our manager, our person's managing director who's overseeing it. It's Patrick Davila. He's been an integral part to launching the company, but it's been great. And his background, he comes from Alberge. We saw that it required a very distinct, discerning type of operator who has that experience. So we keep that track absolutely separate and outside of Rebel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as you mentioned, looking at how things have been performing in the hotel industry, keep hearing about it. We heard it earlier today at the conference, K-shaped economy,
Right.
and just how hotel segments are, how they're performing in relation to how different socioeconomic segments
Sure.
are doing. So, as you are looking at your portfolio, looking at where you want to grow, what are you seeing in terms of the markets that are performing
Yep.
and the business segments?
I think the segment piece is the leisure demand in that ultra luxury segment seems to be doing better than other segments. One part about it is it's a higher disposable income, right? Those people a little bit more insulated from geoeconomic issues that may affect on the other segments. But when you look at it holistically and even look at how the economy, the more economically challenged segments of properties, some of the select service, a little bit slower. They're showing some of the large negative decline in comparison to some of the other segments, such as upper mid-scale or upper upscale. And we see that piece, that leisure demand piece, coming from that higher end customer or guest who's coming and frequenting hotels, especially leisure destinations. So that piece, we see business transient still struggling. Obviously, we're in New York City. Office vacancy rates are still higher than people would expect at this time. The travel restrictions on visa, it still has an impact, especially on shoulder nights and some of the weekends. But beyond that, destinations, leisure, more so, we're focused on. New York City will always be our home base. Definitely has been a good ride in New York City. We want to be a little bit more invested in Southeast United States. California is within our wheelhouse. A lot of our growth has come from California. But other areas, such as the middle of the country, your area, they're just outside of that pre-COVID levels and still moving at a slower pace. So mostly coastal, upper upscale, luxury. That seems to be the sweet spot.
So, as you move forward, and you're looking to continue to grow, what exactly is your strategy? Is there a goal in mind? Like there's a sweet spot, like we want to reach this amount, this is what our portfolio is, what we want it to look like specifically. And what is your approach then as actually trying to make deals?
Yeah, so we have three distinctive tracks or segments
Mm-hmm.
within the company. We have Rebel, it's the core, it's branded, independent, mostly full service hotels. We have Renegade, it's mostly focused serviced hotels. And then we have Reserve, which is the ultra luxury. When you peel back and take a look at some of the opportunities that have come to us recently, and we've been approached by real estate investors, it's really it goes back to that higher end segment of somebody who sees this as being a wellness play or a trophy asset or something that's a development project that's they're just looking for the right operator. And when you look at how look at the pipeline of deals that transpired in 2025, there's been a lot of luxury hotels that have been built for that purpose because they're
Mm-hmm.
seeing the same trajectory that we are, but the project size is smaller, right? So they're not building the 300 room luxury hotels or 250 room. They're becoming smaller and smaller. Within that mindset of that real estate investor, they want a little bit of autonomy within their investment vision, and they don't want to be put into, I guess, a operating platform that's a one size fits all. They want a little bit. They want to be focused on the experience as they see it, but don't have the institutional infrastructure to be able to pull it off because it's a plug and play when it comes to an organization like us. So we felt that it was smart to take a step back and say, listen, we'll cover you. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'll give our team with the level of expertise coming from luxury to be able to support the vision, but we're flexible too. Like we're completely going to understand what you're saying. We're going to be a partner with you, and we're not going to force you into specific programs. We're just going to do it together and work on it as things continue to unfold. So I think that piece, people ask me all the time, like, what is the goal? Do you want to be, 100 hotels, 150 hotels, 200 hotels? I've said this from the very beginning. If you go back and play some earlier interviews, I'm not worried about scale, honestly. As an organization, we don't have any debt. We don't have any pressures to be able to be 100, 150 hotels. We just want to be aligned with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have good partnerships. We want long-lasting partnerships. And we just want to, if it makes sense for us, we'll take it. If it doesn't make sense for us, then we won't take it. We're not going to be we're not going to pressure ourselves to hit a specific number. So,
That makes sense.
yeah, want to be smart about it.
Absolutely. You don't want to be the company that grows, too fast without
That's right.
a severe, a
Yeah.
concrete plan, and then things go wrong for you.
Yeah, no, we don't. And the reality is, every time we pick up something, put out a press release, I'll get a call from a real estate owner and say, "You're growing too quickly." Right? That's a concern. You're growing too quickly. And I always, from a personal level, when we take on new assignment, I always earmark, a percentage of fees that go back to the infrastructure because I don't want to. Not only do I want to. I don't want to provide a bad service to the person that placed their trust and faith within Rebel or Reserve. I want to make sure that we're not taxing our people too,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's because the turnover piece hurts just as it really is the cause for bad performance, and it's hard to retain good talent. So we just want to be smart with taking on assignments, one step at a time. We see how it's worked out when other companies went through large M&A, and it
Mm-hmm.
takes a year or 2 years to be able to sort out how you're going to build the infrastructure, and you don't want to be in that spot, especially at this early stage in our career at Rebel.
Absolutely. And actually, to the point you're making, as far as with talent, uh, what are you seeing on the labor side of things? Obviously, things were rough during the pandemic. Things
Yeah,
were
sure.
rough after the pandemic. Where do things stand, at least with Rebel and its divisions?
Yeah, it's not easy, and I think CoStar puts out some of the best reports about industry trends. The labor piece is not easy. It's not easy. The labor piece, as it impacts margin preservation, you're playing defense. I think you all came out with a report that said labor's up 6% per year, but we're not seeing that RevPAR growth across markets. So how do you manage the margin essentially? And that part is retaining great talent. If you're getting in a segment, what helps us out is you're getting in the higher end segment, and the growth is coming from ADR as opposed to occupancy. ADR is yielding higher profit. It's an offset to increase in labor. As far as retaining good talent, we've been fortunate. I'm proud to say we haven't really lost anybody since we started the company because we're not taxing them with a massive workload. We're just being being conservative with the oversight and how we put people on properties. But in markets where it gets down to the hotel level, like Miami's a difficult labor market, California's a difficult labor market. Rates of pay move quickly. Some of them are local ordinance driven, some union driven. And making sure that we're taking care of the line level associates is critically important, because we don't want to create a situation where we're constantly backfilling positions every single month and it's affecting guest services. So labor will continue to be, a challenge for us, I think, over the next 5 years, for sure.
Looking at the third-party management space, we've really seen the field open up in terms of opportunities to have an operator come in and work with a property that they, years or decades ago wouldn't have had a chance because the owner was operating it or was brand managed, especially in the luxury space. So what are your thoughts then on what is going on in the third-party management space, and where do you think it's going?
Yeah, I think it's the brand partnerships are phenomenal, right? So we have really good brand partners. You're opening up more so the ability to franchise, which is incredibly helpful for us. It has to be we have to be a good fit for them, because obviously there's a brand integrity piece that they want to preserve. We see that becoming more frequent. There's, as we know, there's how many brands does Marriott have and Hilton now, and then you have IHG spinning off. So that piece it gives us the opportunity to be able to speak to a real estate investor and give them optionality. It's, instead of going at this as an independent in a market that may not make sense, does it make sense to plug into a larger machine? As far as the third party overall as an industry, I think where we have seen much success is that we introduced Rebel as a company is not only as an option, but as a solution, right? We were willing to work. Our assignments that we take are based on the investment strategy. When I sit with an owner, I say, hey, listen, what do you want to do? Right? If you're entertaining us as a management company, tell me what you want to do, and let's talk about that playbook. Let's not try to sell you into some type of long-term arrangement that may not work for you. You want to be here for 5 years, you want to here 3, you want to exit in a year and a half. Let's talk through that piece. I think that part of the dialogue showed alignment, and I'm happy to say that most of our assignments, if you look at the number of hotels that we have within Rebel, the growth has come from additional hotels from those specific ownership groups as opposed to one-offs, because it was a job well done and we're willing to work with them through their investment thesis. So it's a crowded space. You see larger companies continue to get larger, right? And continue to occupy space, whereas maybe the smaller companies such as ourselves just or that solution that's not one size fits all. We're nimble and adaptable to whatever that investment strategy is.
And on top of that, you have others who are smaller. They're then combining.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they're getting bigger then.
That's it. That's an interesting point. We started the company, it was within 2 to 3 years. We started the company really 2021, 2022, when it was an extended shutdown in New York City and other markets. And, out of the gate, we've had several people approach us to purchase us. I guess the Rebel naming convention during that time made sense or didn't make sense. But just kind of the approach and how we were, operating hotels, we're flattered that we had that many offers. But it told us a few things. Number one is companies through M&A or facilitating their growth through, absorbing other companies. 2 is that out of the gate, we were interesting, right? We were interesting. Our wheelhouse was independent urban hotels, mostly in New York City. No way to gain a faster footprint in a major metropolitan city, maybe the best hospitality city in the world, to acquire a company that's already there. So, like I said, we're flattered, but we're okay. We're not looking to acquire. We're just looking to do smart growth and sustainable over a period of time.
You had mentioned earlier just some of the things you've been hearing back from the owners you're working with, concerns over growing too fast. What is it that you want to, so what are you hearing from the owners you're working with right now in terms of what are they concerned about where things currently stand with the industry,
Yeah.
which to my understanding is a little bit better than it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think the number one concern is when you receive that telephone call. And coincidentally, I'm about to have lunch with the person that's the most concerned in a few minutes. But it is more so that I think they're coming from a company, or coming from a manager or
Mm.
management companies, that it was difficult for somebody to be successful because the workload was so large for specific individuals. So it's hard when your workload in the form of oversight from a kind of a regional perspective. If you're an operator, a salesperson, when you have 25, 30 hotels and one person, that's not easy, right? That's a lot of time on the road. It's very difficult. And I've done that job.
Mm.
I've done that job. It's very difficult to be on top of everything. So that piece is they just want to make sure that they're not falling into the same scenario that they were before. So sometimes we have to, in the contract, say, look, we're going to give you a team, and they're not going to exceed a certain amount of keys, and we're willing to work with that. So I think that piece shows partnership, like they care, like they're personally invested into the relationship, and they want to make sure they're taken care of. They're paying you for a management fee, and they want to make sure they're getting a return on investment for what they're paying.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Brian, thank you very much
My pleasure.
for taking the time to speak with us today, and thanks all of you for watching.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm STR's Isaac Colazo.
And I'm CoStar's Jan Freitag. And together we are the data geeks behind Tell Me More, a hospitality data podcast work.
Every month, we bring you a fresh take on the latest hotel data, insights into the travel trends behind that performance, and the big picture topics you should be thinking about.
And we also don't mind getting into some good-natured disagreement from time to time. Hey, when Isaac and I start talking data together, anything can happen, and it usually does.
Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen.
This episode of the CoStar News Hotels podcast was recorded on June 1st, 2026 at the NYU International Hospitality Investment Forum by Meredith Sheridan and was edited for podcast by Brian Wroten. Head to costar.com/hotel news for more coverage from this event and more. You can find all of our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your platform of choice. Thanks for listening.